so thankful to be able to get it done and, to be here.
It does mean something when, and I've said this too, we're all sitting here wondering about free agency and stuff. You don't know what the coaching staff, what the organization thinks about you until they show you.
For sure.
Not just in the money, but also in your play time. And you've been a starter for a couple of years. They've said that you're a big integral part of what things done, and now they really proved it really how much they think of you, right? That's what it means something, right?
For sure, it does. I think the main thing is just that they wanted me to be here.
Yeah.
They wanted me to help lead this team, lead this defense, and that's one of the biggest things for me. I've tried to give everything that I've had to this organization, and to feel like they wanted me back and they wanted me to continue on the journey that I've been on. It's amazing.
Yeah. Knowing that you're now under contract for the next 4 years, how do you feel in terms of grasp of the defensive scheme? Can you even become a better football player? Because obviously going from rookie to the breakout in year 2 to having another big season in year 3, do you feel comfortable being that quarterback of the defense with maybe some younger players that are going to be pieced around you in 2025?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that was part of the journey last year. Really understanding my job and then, helping guys around me. And, I feel like I learned how to do that throughout this past season. And, that's an instance where, I need to get better at, and I want to get better at, and, they're expecting that of me. And so that's the journey that I'm on right now. I'm excited for the opportunity, to do anything that I can to help this defense and, lead this defense the right way.
Quick follow-up to that. Can you explain how important it is to have that knowledge of not only what you need to do, but what Dorian Williams needs to do, or Matt Milano, the D-line? Like, they were showing the interception against the Houston Texans, which to me was such a great play, where it was like not even just your athleticism, but you knowing that there's going to be a dig route behind you. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what goes into the mental side of playing the linebacker position and understanding those around you?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's such a huge part of it. Obviously physically you have to be, up to par, but then mentally there's an area where, there's always room for improvement. Whether that's pre-snap communication, post-snap communication, on the sidelines. I feel like those are all areas that, you can grow, and with the experience and with the reps, it continues to get better. But, there's no substitute for, being able to communicate with guys around you and understand their job, understand your job when, it's live action, when there's 100,000 people watching you, when, there's critical moments of the game. I feel like that's where, you can really elevate yourself and elevate those around you.
So you got this, you had these conversations with this. You got to know too, last year we thought it was going to be a tough year, a lot of new faces on the defenses in particular. Now you thought, well, now it's the same thing. You got some guys that contracts are out. You got guys that have lapsed their contracts. You're waiting to find out who. What can you tell us about the vibe? First, two things. What are the players thinking about what's going to happen? And also, did the management share with you any of their plan, that what they have going forward for the defense? I'm talking about.
Not a ton of planning wise. I think the main thing is understanding who we are and who we want to be this year. That's regardless of who's out there or what happens this offseason going into this next year. That's our motto. Once we get guys locked in and everybody finds out their role and figures out what they need to do. There's a standard of how we play and how we operate, and once all, like I said, all the roles are solidified. That's when you can really get into the details of the defense and understanding your specific role and how you want to approach every day, every week.
All right, my question for you is, how is your health, and what are your plans for training this offseason? Now, of course, you get some rest time, which you've obviously deserved that. But what do you do to try to ramp up? What's your schedule look like to be maybe not worn out by training camp, but to be ready when things pick back up at St. John Fisher?
Yeah, for sure. I think right now for me, I'm training in Houston most of the time. I have a spot out there, a trainer out there that I work with. I get my program actually from Will Greenberg. He set me up last year. He sets me up this year with what I need to be doing, weight room wise, conditioning wise, speed wise, all that type of stuff. and then obviously working with PT, like my PT stuff, just to get my body feeling as fresh as possible. Heading into OTAs, that's the plan. I'm here for a week, so I'll meet with all those guys again and recalibrate and make sure we're on the right track, and then get back to it. So by the time OTAs roll around, I'm ready to go. And we'll be doing all of that, and then like you said, man, getting ready for training camp in another year.
Time off's always important. Where's your home base? What city's your?
Yeah, Houston, right outside of Houston.
Okay, yeah.
So I live out there.
So you can get out year round down there. I know.
Yeah.
Give us a little idea about the vibe in the locker room now. It's always a sour note to leave this the season like you have to leave it. Everybody except Philly.
Yep.
Give us an idea about the vibe about now. At that last game, this team's going to be a lot different this year. New faces, the whole thing. Certainly you and Josh and Shakir and all those guys are coming back, obviously. But there's going to be a lot of dudes that you had to say goodbye to. What's the vibe going forward, particularly now that there's a handful of guys out there that you're going to be lifelong pals with now. You guys are going to be playing a lot of football together.
Yeah, I think the overall vibe is just we're really close, and there's no reward for not winning a Super Bowl, but I think there's an understanding that what we do works, and we are really close to reaching that ultimate goal. Not the way we wanted to end the season at all, but I think what we can take from that is you have to make a few plays here and there down the stretch to win those games, and if you're able to do that, we feel like we're in a good spot. And, I think, like you said, just the guys that we locked in, we'll get back and talk and figure out, ways to improve, the overall team and do it again next year.
You really got to feel that way as well. I mean, even with all the changes and the question marks in the roster, what happened last year going into the season when there was all the new faces, you still have to feel like you're going to be right there again. You're going to have another swing at it in the playoffs and the championship, the whole thing. You're going to feel like your expectation is going to be that you're going to get back there again right away.
For sure. That's the expectation. Like I said, we have very, very high standards for ourselves and, what we do on a day-to-day basis, but also, the result of what happens. And I think, we believe that, as long as we got 17, as long as we got some of the other guys around on this team, we have a chance to be successful. And it comes down, like I said, to a couple plays here and there, but we have the pieces and we have what it takes to do it.
All right, I got to ask you about Dorian Williams. He's one of my favorite players. I'm a draft guy. I loved him coming out of Tulane. Being that he's like a year behind you and that he has played a little bit more as he's progressed, you kind of went through that same process. Can you speak to how he's developed early on and how he's does he soak up a lot of knowledge from you and from Matt? Where do you see his future here in Buffalo?
Yeah, Dorian's awesome, man. He's like a brother to me. Like you said, I got here a year before him, so I was able to see, him take, so many steps throughout his career already and, become the person, the player that he is right now. He's got, everything in front of him. He can do whatever he wants to do. I think he's one of the most athletic guys in the building. He's so physical, so gifted, and I think he's a guy that wants to be good so bad. So his development is going to be fun to watch. I try to pour into him as much as I can. And he's such a good dude and somebody that I want to see do well. So building that relationship and those type of things, that's what we do it for. And like I said, I'm happy for him, and I can't wait to see what he does this year too.
Sure. So do you have a text loop with Rousseau and Josh and yourself and and Shakir and Reed Ferguson?
Reed Ferguson, don't forget my dog Reed.
Don't forget, right?
Don't forget Reed.
So you got all you guys re-signed up. It does give you. It's got to give you some. I remember going through it myself. It gives you some comfort to know that there is going to be some guys you can lean and some familiar faces in there, and there's going to be enough guys that you're going to keep that vibe and the culture and the stuff that's really important off the field headed in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I think Greg, for me, is a huge guy to get back. You know, he's such a process-driven guy, and, you know, he does all the little things right. And, you know, he's somebody that I try to measure up to and try to, you know, make sure I'm doing everything I need to do for him. And, you know, he's doing the same thing. And then, like you said, you know, Josh, obviously, you know, franchise quarterback, the guy that makes the whole thing go. You know, locking him up for you know, some more time is amazing. And then, you know, Khalil, I think he's one of the guys that, you know, since he stepped into the building, he's just been so consistent, and, you know, kind of that guy for Josh that, you know, whenever he needs somebody, that's who he goes to. And, you know, I couldn't be happier for those guys. I built such great relationships with all of them, Reed included. You know, he's a Texas guy now. He lives out there, so. You know, might go golf with him, but, you know, I think all those guys, man, you build these relationships and, you know, these bonds with people, and, you know, to see it, you know, progress over the years and, you know, really grow into what it is now. It's going to be fun, you know, seeing what happens in the future.
Very quickly, how important, you're talking about the tightness of the locker room, how close a lot of these core pieces are. Yes, there were new pieces last season. There's going to be new pieces on defense via the draft, maybe here in free agency the next couple of days. Can you talk about how important it is to have that type of culture and really how that translates from golfing in the offseason to Sundays and Monday nights on the field?
Yeah, it's super important. You know, I think that's where everything starts is the relationships and the bonds that you build with the guys around you. So obviously it makes it easier when it's the same guys, but you know, that's a part where, you know, it's undeniable. You know, my relationship with Matt directly affects how we play together on Sundays, and, you know, we put a lot of time in. He's become, you know, my best friend up here, a brother to me. So, you know, when we're in front of, you know, 80,000 people and everything's crazy, you know, I can look at him and he can look at me, and he knows that I'm gonna give everything I got to make sure he's in the right spot and to make sure, you know, I'm doing my job, and I know he's doing the same thing. So, you know, that trust factor and that bond that you build with the guys is you know, what it all comes down to.
Matters, yeah.
Terrel Bernard, fresh off the heels of a 4-year contract extension. Thanks for spending some time with us, and
Yes, sir.
congratulations.
Thank you again. Thank you very much.